Hello everybody, thanks for watching the Amarillo Pioneer election results tonight. We meant to be on an hour ago, but we've had so many technical difficulties tonight, which you can probably tell. So, either way, we're just excited to get to share tonight with you. I'm Thomas Warren, this is Jason Fogelsong, Noah Dawson's behind the camera, and we're coming to you tonight on an off election year. It's a constitutional amendment election. It's not an election that is really sexy for a lot of voters, but it's really important because it decides a lot of the direction of our state. We've been kind of tracking the numbers on this whiteboard behind us for about an hour, and you can see it's passing pretty much everything except for one notable exception. So we're just going to walk you through where the results are tonight. We're going to be cutting in and out this evening with different updates throughout the night as new numbers come in. But here's where we stand right now. Just under 1 million votes have been counted so far by the Texas Secretary of State's office. That's what they're telling us. 163 counties have at least some votes in, and 392 polling places from across the state have numbers in. You probably think, wow, that's such a big number. It is, except for the fact that the total number of polling places is 4,806. So, we're still very early in the night, and anything could change. But let's go through the numbers. Proposition number 1, it's the constitutional amendment for the right to engage in farming, ranching, timber production, horticulture, and wildlife management. It is passing at this hour, 77 to 23. Our numbers are just a little off behind us from the last time we updated. Prop 2, it is a child care facility tax exemption. It is passing also 65-34. But let's get into the ones that I know you all care about. Number 3, this is a ban on a net worth tax. This isn't something that's been pushed in Texas yet, but it's kind of a preemptive measure to stop it. It is passing 67 to 33. Proposition 4, to increase the homestead exemption. It's passing 84-16. Proposition number, I'm just going to go through a few of them because I believe we have numbers running at the bottom of the screen. Proposition number 9, this is one a lot of people have been focusing on. It provides a one-time cost of living adjustment for certain people who are part of the teacher retirement system of Texas. It's passing 84 to 16. Proposition number 11, which would be a item to allow reclamation districts in El Paso County to issue debt for parks projects. It's passing 65-35. Proposition number 12, kind of a controversial item to abolish the Galveston County Treasurer. It's passing 54 to 45. This is the big one. This is kind of a surprise. I think the numbers have narrowed a little bit since the last time we looked. Proposition, no, not really. Oh, actually, yeah, the numbers have stayed about even. Proposition 13. This would increase the retirement age for district judges and state judges in Texas. Right now, if you turn 74 during your term,
it just refreshes. So
sorry. Oh, okay, it just refreshed. We're going to give you some fresh numbers on those. But yeah, proposition number 13 addresses retirement age. If you turn 74 during your term, doesn't matter how great of a judge you've been, you're out of there. This would make it to where if you turn 79 in your term, you'd retire. So it could give certain judges 1 to 2 more terms. It's passed, or actually it is failing, 61 to 39. And we updated this probably about 15 minutes ago, and we have this number on our board too. That just shows you it's been staying pretty flat all night. Folks are not for that. And finally, Proposition 14, it is a Centennial Parks Fund for Texas. It's passing 77 to 23. We have numbers in for Canyon ISD. It is failing, correct?
Yes, Canyon ISD. It looks like so far, I need to refresh the numbers again, see if we got any election day. But so far for early voting, it is failing 57 to 43. That's with about 3,000 votes in.
Okay.
We're also looking at a couple things down in Lubbock. Lubbock County has a $35 million bond on the ballot. It is passing 59 to 41%. There's also it's a smaller race, but the city of Wolford is having a city charter election down in Lubbock County. It is passing. I can give you the percentage: 89 to 11%. But probably more interesting is that's 404 votes for to 48 against. That shows you it's a pretty small election. But again, the big one, especially for the Amarillo area, the Canyon ISD property tax ratification, it is failing 57 to 43. And let's see if we've got any new numbers on that one.
While you're doing that, I want to pull up the biggest race on the ballot anywhere in Texas tonight. It's not one that affects Amarillo, but it is driving a lot of this turnout, and it is the election for mayor of Houston. Sylvester Turner, the incumbent, he's not. Here, let me do it. There you go. See, technical difficulties. Yeah. Sylvester Turner, he's the incumbent at Houston. He's not seeking re-election, but there are a lot of candidates running to replace him this year. The two candidates who most of the attention have focused on.
Houston's Channel 11, so khou.com has some live results.
OU's numbers. John Whitmire, state senator from Houston, longtime state senator. He's a Democrat. He is getting 44% of the vote right now. Sheila Jackson Lee, congresswoman from Houston, she is running with 36% right now. Jackson Lee was endorsed by Hillary Clinton, Beto O'Rourke, I believe Nancy Pelosi, but don't quote me on that.
I didn't pay attention. It's Houston.
Yeah. It is, just say Sheila Jackson Lee's had most of the big Democratic establishment backing her. John Whitmire, he is a Democrat, but there are a lot of Republicans who are voting for him, mainly because they don't want Sheila Jackson Lee. I believe that. And yeah, so right now, John Whitmire 44, Sheila Jackson Lee 36, and everybody else is down. MJ Kahn, who was on the city council in Houston, he is actually struggling right now in his numbers. He has about, I think, 1% of the vote. Hughson City Council, District G. I want to just bring attention to this race because this is so interesting. Mary Nan Huffman, she's the incumbent. She's backed by a lot of Republican organizations. She's being opposed by Tony Busby. Anyone know Tony Busby?
I know that name.
That is Ken Paxton's lawyer. Ken Paxton's lawyer is running against her, and the Republican Party's endorsed Mary Nan Huffman. She is, I know, she is leading right now, 51 to 41. So maybe we'll avoid a runoff. We'll see. There's about 21,000 votes cast so far in that race. So where are we at right now? Basically, we're waiting on election day numbers from most of the big counties. Really from all the big counties, I think. Same thing with Canyon ISD. We really can't tell you what Canyon ISD's final number is going to be because we haven't got election day in yet. So there's a few things we're waiting on. But until then, Jason, what do you think? How are things going?
I mean, I didn't really think that anybody was paying attention to some of these propositions. I think some people honestly didn't read really closely, specifically with the Canyon one, with the tax increase, which we're not really tracking on the board. But people tend to see the word tax or see other keywords and then they just vote for or against. And sometimes I wonder if the way things are worded on the ballot doesn't just confuse people.
Well, I think the thing that's kind of surprising me, and I
hit that.
Yeah, I bet the
Canyon
numbers
tab that I brought up. Is it still there?
Yeah.
No,
it's not. I'm sorry.
The reason I say that is if you look at Canyon ISD's information that they released specifically to promote their whatever it is, VATRE, that I can't remember what that stands for, their voter approved tax thing. It shows like 3 different columns, and if people don't read into it and understand what they're voting for, if they vote for or against something, they might not actually be getting what they want.
Yeah, it's a really strange referendum. I think this is still correct that the item that has the highest amount of voter support right now is Prop 9, which is for teacher retirement. That's the one-time cost of living adjustment. After that, though, it is the proposition number 4, which increases the homestead valuation. Not really a huge shock. We kind of knew that was going to pass. Mm-hmm. But look at some of these other ones. Prop 11, it's passing 66 to 34. Now 35-35. 65-35, I'm sorry. That is the El Paso one. That's a pretty big number. The last time an item was on the ballot like that for El Paso was in 2011, and it failed. It failed, I think, 51 to 42.
I wonder what voters
48,
think when they
sorry.
see that on the ballot. Like, I voted for it because of the words conservation, reclamation, but it's honestly, it's El Paso. Why does the rest of the state care? It's the same thing with Galveston. It's not even relevant to most of us, except that I guess it sets a precedent that you can eliminate a position, which, I mean, the county treasurer is elected, right?
That was already
So if you
Yeah.
you eliminate an elected position, you take away accountability from voters. I mean, I can see why people would be upset about that.
looking at the numbers, it's staying flat. This is surprising. I want to share this. Some of these items have not crossed 1 million votes yet. So we're just getting to the point of the night where about 1 million votes have rolled in. But I want to show you this, okay? This is fascinating. Prop 3, okay, that's the net worth tax. It doesn't have 1 million votes yet, total. Prop 11, that's the conservation district, doesn't have 1 million votes yet. Prop 12 doesn't have 1 million votes yet, but look what does. Proposition 13
So people are leaving stuff blank.
Yeah, there's people leaving stuff blank, but there are a few, if you're looking at these numbers, that people are going down the ballot and they're voting for. It looks like the one that's had the most voter participation yet, or to this point in the night. Not really a big shock. Oh, actually, yeah, I am surprised. Okay, the one that's had the most voter participation at this point in the evening is Proposition number 1, which is the amendment for farming and ranching and timber production. That's had more votes than any other item.
I mean, to be fair, it's at the top of the ballot. There are going to be a lot of voters. I'll just put it this way: there are a lot of voters who show up to vote because they hear it's an election, and they're excited. They think they might get to vote for someone. They get to the ballot, they realize it's just constitutional amendments.
Yeah.
They vote on the first one, then scroll down and see that's all it is, and they give up.
And some of these things, yeah, that's not exciting. As you said earlier, it's not a sexy election. I know a lot of people that haven't researched until election day what they even think about some of these issues. And what you see in the ballot language is there's always more to it than that. Like, one of these, the property tax, I think it's Prop 4 is the property tax one. There's something in there that if you like dig into it that allows for there to be like a 4-year term for somebody on the appraisal board. And it's like buried at the very bottom. I'm pretty sure it's that one. But people don't read that far to find out what they're getting. So like there's something like that. Like you mentioned, there's a one-time cost of living adjustment for the TRS program. Mm-hmm. That wasn't, in my opinion, widely promoted. And I mean, I'm a teacher, so I was paying attention. But if you dig into the bills, it looks like only certain age groups are actually getting that one-time payment. Like you have to be 70 or 75 depending on what you're going to get. So if I'm retired at 62, I might not be getting it, and people are excited for that. But then there's a percentage that you'll get every month. But like it's really not communicated very clearly what you're actually getting. And the state legislature makes it kind of hard to see what bills actually made it through and which one. Like everybody says, oh, you just look on the Capitol website, and then you do, and it's really not there.
The Capitol website is a disaster.
I read the Senate bill, and that's where I started seeing all of the one-time language. And I started wondering, because I was under the impression that this was like a broad thing for all retired teachers, and it doesn't seem to be the case.
Okay, so we have some initial numbers out of Galveston County. I just got them.
All right.
This is important because Prop 12, the way it's actually written, if Galveston County voters don't approve it, doesn't matter if the rest of the state approves it, it doesn't pass. Because it is to eliminate a position in the county government in Galveston County. Proposition 12 is passing in Galveston, 54 to 46, which is just slightly less support than statewide, but still about like the rest of the state's voting. Eliminating a position of county government is really kind of an interesting ballot proposition for the state, because these positions that are created by the state constitution, if you're going to eliminate them, you have to go through this process, the constitutional amendments, and only a few counties have actually eliminated any positions like this. There are some, though, and I think you and I have discussed this a little bit. There are a few positions that really you can't get rid of in county government. Things like, you can't ever imagine a county getting rid of a sheriff or a tax assessor or a county clerk. But positions like county treasurer, those have kind of been the ones that people have focused more on. Now, it's interesting though, because I've heard some people go, well, I'm voting for it because it shrinks the size of government. The position actually, it goes away, but all of those responsibilities just go to a different office. And so basically it's like, well, yeah, you're eliminating one position, but like all the staff and stuff go to this different office.
And the specific language, and it's also, it doesn't even necessarily shift it to another office. They can hire someone, the county commissioners court can hire someone to do that. So you effectively have a county treasurer in all but name. There's still the same number of positions in the county government. The one thing that's changed is that position is no longer elected.
You've created more bureaucracy instead of more representation. So I would oppose getting rid of elected positions just because of that.
Yeah.
Unelected bureaucrats create lots of problems.
Well, it is 8:25. Results are still coming in. A lot of these are probably already been decided, but there are a few like Galveston County that we're kind of waiting on to see how they go. So we're going to be here all night. Stick around with us. We'll be popping in and off the stream. Any updates? I do want to just share, I just saw online, I haven't been watching the numbers. We said we were going to talk a little bit about some of the other big races that are going on just across the ballot. In Kentucky, the Democrat, Andy Beshear, just got reelected. Don't know if you saw that.
No, I hadn't. There's been a few different elections that we probably need to look at today, but I hadn't had a chance.
Yeah, Kentucky.
Which is interesting.
Well, I mean, that is, you know.
Is he very popular in Kentucky, or?
Well, Daniel Cameron, African-American Attorney General, considered a rising star among the Republican Party. He was the challenger, and Daniel Cameron did not beat him, I'm sorry. So, kind of a surprise, but.
It's interesting. I was under the impression that Kentucky was a deep red state.
It is,
Maybe
except
not.
they've elected some Democrats as governor, which is kind of interesting. But okay, like I said, it is 8:27 now. We're going to be popping in and off here. When we come back, we'll have more numbers. We'll try to have some more numbers for you in Canyon, and we'll talk about the Virginia races a little bit. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for being with us. Amarillo Pioneer Election Night coverage. I'm Thomas Warren. This is Jason Fogelsong. Okay, so we've had a few updates since we last checked in with you. Not a lot's changed, but a few races have gotten called. So let's turn now to the big board and see how things are going. Prop 1. Prop 1 is the ranching and timber production amendment. It has passed. It's called. It has passed. Prop 3. Prop 3 is which one?
Prop 3 is the wealth tax one.
Ah, yes, Prop 3 to ban the wealth tax. It has been called for. Prop 4, that's the homestead exemption increase. It has passed. Prop 6. Which one's Prop 6?
Prop 6 is the Texas Water Fund.
Creating the Texas Water Fund. It has passed.
Prop 8, broadband fund.
Yeah, the broadband fund in Prop 8's passed. Prop 9 is the teacher retirement. It has passed.
And some of these numbers have changed since we did it, but they're not significantly different.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody that's coming back.
And then Prop 14, that's the Centennial Parks Fund, that's passed. So we're still waiting on numbers in a few of these races. Just putting it mildly, though, we kind of know how tonight's going to play out. I mean, there's not a lot really that's going to change. Canyon ISD, it looks like their tax rate ratification is going to fail, which is interesting. 57 against. And we don't have numbers really out of Happy. All we have right now is just the Round County numbers, but those are by no means the entire district. We were just talking about there are several counties that have numbers for Happy. So hopefully we'll have those for you tomorrow. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Okay, this is an interesting night. Prop 13. Just going back to this one for a minute. This is the item that would have increased the ages, the retirement age for judicial office holders, making it to where instead of retiring at 74, they can retire at 79. This item is going to fail, probably. It's not called yet. It's probably going to fail. It's probably not coming back. This will be the first time an amendment has failed since 2019. The last time an amendment failed was actually something related to judges again. It was an item that would have allowed municipal judges to serve in more than one city. And do we have the graphic pulled up? Okay. You can see the overwhelming defeat of the last amendment that failed, Proposition number 1 in 2019. Remind me again, was it 65% against?
Yep, 65.44% against.
65% of people went into the booth and voted against it.
Oh, we're at 61%-ish right now.
Yeah.
With 1.2 million votes counted, so.
But let's talk about Prop 13 for a minute. Prop 13's not called yet. But Prop 13, and don't switch the graphic just yet, because we need to lay the foundation for this. Prop 13 would increase the retirement age for judges like we were talking about. Now, there actually is one judge in Amarillo who's up for re-election next year who this would directly impact. In fact, he already has his campaign website up. I guess in anticipation of this thing passing. Doesn't look like it's going to. But that's in the 108th District Court, Judge Doug Woodburn. He's been there for a few terms now. He would be termed out without this item passing. And he already has one opponent for next year, maybe two.
Let me throw that
Yeah, go ahead and throw it up. I want to just kind of compare. This is a look at the ages of the candidates for general election next year. So on General Election Day, 2024, a year from now, how old the candidates would be in that race. And you can see there's already a sizable age difference. But one of the things we talked about was Judge Woodburn he would be 75 years old next year. Correct. Sam Silverman, who's running against him, he'd be 62 next year. Joe Mar Wilson, who has a treasurer appointment filed, he's not announced if he's running, but he has taken the necessary steps to do it. He would be 60, I believe. If this passes, yes, it gives Judge Woodburn one more term where he could run, but But say Sam Silverman wins. Say Jomar Wilson wins. Both of those guys could be there for several terms, actually. Instead of just saying, hey, they could be here for in the case of Sam Silverman, 12 years? You're looking at closer to 4 terms? 5 terms? This makes it to where if this passed, we could end up in a situation where the face of the judiciary is probably going to be set in stone for a while. And some people probably think that's just fine. Some people probably disagree. That's up to you to decide. But it would impact local elections, and it would be interesting. Just put it that way. It'd be very interesting to see it play out. Anyway, is the graphic down?
Yeah.
All right.
And I just noticed, and this is on blame for the man who made the graphic, Thomas. It says their ages if it passes. I think that those don't really have effect on if it passes or not.
Yeah, I get that's true. Sam Silverman is still going to be 62 years old next year, no matter if this passes or fails. Same thing for Judge Woodburn and Jomar Wilson's ages. Okay, so Jason Fogelsong, let's talk about this. Why do you think voters in Texas are hesitant about changing? Because you are a history teacher, you teach the young minds this. Why do you think voters in Texas are hesitant about changing the state constitution when it comes to judges?
I don't know. I don't really have a historical precedent for that, but I can give you my personal opinion on it.
Please.
It's not. I don't mean this as a positive or negative toward any candidate that would be affected by it. I don't have an opinion on any of them really, but if you look at the makeup of our government, not just the judicial branch, like all 3 of the branches, the people that have all of the levers of power are significantly older than the people that actually need to be able to make decisions and changes in society. So I don't really have a problem with not forcing somebody out at 75 because there's new blood that needs to be able to move up there, new perspectives, and it's just kind of a major generational problem that we have in this country that people just will not retire.
Well, I know that was actually one of the reasons that groups like True Texas Project were recommending a no vote on Prop 13 was they said it makes it harder for younger attorneys to get elected to these positions.
It's basically a bottleneck for everyone, and it's not just in politics, it's just in life. It's a bottleneck for everyone below who's trying to advance their career and grow their skills. It shuts down too much movement. It doesn't mean that somebody's not capable or not qualified. It's just it's time to let some new blood have a chance.
So let's talk about this. Judge Woodburn was widely expected to run for re-election in Potter County if Prop 13 passed. At this hour, it looks like it's probably not going to. So Sam Silverman is running. He has said he's running regardless of whether this passed. He has pledged to only do 2 terms. Jomar Wilson, he has a treasurer appointment. He hasn't announced if he's running yet, but he has taken the necessary step to do it. It's going to be a really strange election next year, right? Because we just went through a cycle where we had 3 contested judicial races in Potter County, and one of them got pretty nasty. If you remember, we had a candidate taking his opponent's yard signs and throwing them in dumpsters.
I remember some of that. Yeah. And there's always more to the story, but the optics and what people see and the public opinion is shifted in an instant, and a week later, it doesn't really matter what the story says.
Right. And so, how do you think that 108th race is going to look different next year if Judge Woodburn is not a candidate because Prop 13 doesn't pass?
It's more likely to go to runoff.
Well, it is, but do you think we're going to see more candidates? Because
probably.
I don't think if Prop 13 fails tonight, that the race just stays Sam Silverman and Jomar Wilson.
No, surely there will be more people involved. Yeah. And that is a partisan race, right?
That is a partisan race.
So you've got, I'm assuming, 2 Republicans. I mean, I know both of them. I'm pretty sure they're running as Republicans. You're going to see other people that want in on that. There's lots of other conservative lawyers in town that might decide to take a shot at it. And then you never know who the Democrats are going to pull out. Like, there's going to be choices for that race.
Well, Todd Hatter and Pam Sermon, who was the incumbent for 320th, who lost re-election last year. They both lost re-election. They're not, with Todd Hatter, he didn't lose re-election. He lost his race. So you can see there are attorneys in the area who've run for district court benches in the past who haven't gotten elected. Could we see some of them show up? I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. We don't know. In fact, I don't even know that either of those candidates are in Potter County. Because I believe this, if I remember correctly, isn't the 108th just a Potter County bench?
I believe so, but I'd have to double check that.
Yeah.
I'm not super knowledgeable about
The
that
Texas
stuff.
District Court's map is,
It's a mess.
yeah.
But no, I mean, I think we're going to see several candidates. And look, would it shock you at all if a treasurer appointment gets filed tomorrow by somebody? No. It wouldn't shock me. So that's that. Any changes from what you're watching?
It doesn't look like it. We have 225 counties reported, but there's still a whole lot of polling locations to be counted for.
Let's talk about Travis County for a second. I'm going to pull that map back up. I know I just had it here. We were talking about Travis County, of course, the home of our state capital. Probably between that and El Paso. Don't know which one takes the cake, but among the most reliably blue counties in Texas. Not a lot of blue counties in Texas, but those two are pretty reliable.
Yeah.
Travis County, in particular, and we were talking about how odd the choices are in Travis County. So this is from the Texan. This is from our friends at the Texan. Going through this, Travis County. Now, to give you all an idea, Travis County, 45% of the vote is in right now in Travis County. 82,000 votes, approximately. Go through where they're at. Prop 1. Prop 1, it's the right to farming, ranching, timber production, horticulture, and wildlife management. Only 2 counties in Texas voting against it right now.
Who's the other one?
Burleson County, where 1,700 votes have been cast.
What these
It
are
is close.
about,
It's
like, why?
It's 878 against 8.
Really answerable questions, but why do you need an amendment to protect the right to engage in farming, ranching, timber production, horticulture, and wildlife management? Like, why does that need to be protected? It should be a given, in my opinion. But then on the other hand, too, like, why would you vote against that?
Well,
It's kind of weird.
going through the rest of Travis County, they're voting for Prop 2, which is the item for the tax exemption for child care facilities. Prop 3, to prohibit the tax on net worth. They're voting against it. 61% of voters in Travis County are voting against banning the net worth tax.
Well, it's not the net worth tax isn't happening. It's prohibiting the state from having
Right.
it or in the future, kind of like the income tax debate was last time.
Prop 4 is the
4 is the homestead
yes,
exemptions.
thank you, homestead exemptions. They're voting for that. Prop 5, that is the university fund one. Interestingly, Travis County is voting for it. UT Austin, I believe, gets no benefit out of that, if I remember correctly. It's UT Austin and Texas A&M, I think, that are excluded. Prop 6, the Texas Water Fund, they're voting for it. Only one county in Texas voting against the Texas Water Fund, and it's kind of an odd one.
It's a really dry desert-like county.
Yeah, it's Winkler County, out in the middle of nowhere.
We don't need water.
Prop 7, creation of the State Energy Fund. Travis County's voting against it. Prop 8, they're voting for it. That's the broadband fund. Prop 9, the teacher retirement, they're voting for it. Prop 10, which would provide the tax exemption for medical equipment. They're voting against it, but it's actually close, 52-48.
It's actually it's right now it's 56-43.
Now in Travis, I'm talking about Travis County.
But this thing keeps updating, so I keep checking to see if I missed anything.
Prop 11, this is for the Parks and Recreations, or I'm sorry, not Parks and Recreation, the Parks Fund, debt issuances in El Paso, 63% for. Interestingly too, looking at this, El Paso, 61% of voters there voting yes on that, so it's actually lower than the number across the state. Prop 12, this is the Galveston County Treasurer, 54-46 right now. If anybody was wondering, it is tight. in Galveston. It's very tight right now. We got 25,000 votes in. It is passing 53 to 47 in Galveston. That's 95% of the vote in. It's probably going to pass Galveston, but it's tight. And then Prop 13. Oh, Prop 13 just got called.
Prop 13 got
Prop
called.
13 just got called. The item to increase the mandatory retirement age for judges has failed. It has failed.
All right, let me get that up on our list.
Prop 13 has failed. Wow. First constitutional amendment in 4 years to fail. That is a surprise. And Prop 14 creation of the Centennial Parks District. Travis County is voting for it, and it is passing this hour. So, I want to go through this. It looks like almost everything's been called. The only ones that haven't been called yet here, Jason. The only ones that we're waiting on a call on, ladies and gentlemen, is Proposition 10 and Proposition 12. That's it.
Oh.
So
they've done quite a bit of work in the last few minutes since we made our choices.
Here. Prop 10, which is the, let me see.
It's the biomedical or medical equipment products.
It is staying put, and then Prop 12
Is the
54 to 46 now.
And that's, or were you looking at the statewide or just still looking at
That's
Austin?
across the state. That's across the state. Right now, looking at the information from the Texan, we have 93% of votes in. So this is actually going to be an early election night for Texas.
So what was it? Prop 10 and Prop 12 failed, or
Prop-
not failed.
Prop 10 and 12, Prop 12 are the only ones that we don't have calls for at this hour.
All right.
So, I don't know. I mean, this is an interesting election night, for sure. Wow. Harris County. We probably ought to check in there, just see how things are going.
I still have that tab open too.
You have that tab?
I think so. Yep. Maybe. If it would let me have it. It looks like, as of right now, KHOU.com has John Whitmire at 43, Sheila Jackson Lee at 37, followed by Gilbert Garcia and Jack Christie at 7%. And then everyone else is at 2 or 1.
So, Houston's mayoral race is going to runoff.
And then city council, since you mentioned,
Yeah, how's Tony Busby doing?
he is, as of right this second, they will not be going to runoff. He is losing to Mary Nan Huffman, 51 to 41.
That is the way. I think that's the same number we had a little while ago. You refreshed the tab?
Yeah, I hit refresh before I started looking.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
and it shows, however, Houston also shows only 31% reporting so far, with 392 out of more than 1,200 precincts. So there's obviously room for change. I'm actually kind of curious to know who the next mayor of Houston will be, since it can't be Sylvester Turner.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Actually-
don't know who I would cheer for in this case. None.
Wow.
I don't
Well,
really know any of these people.
Tony Busby may not win this race. Be surprised.
It looks like the city of Houston controller at this point may also go to a runoff.
Yeah, Chris Hollins
It's like
and
48%.
who's the other candidate?
Orlando Sanchez.
Orlando Sanchez. Orlando Sanchez is a Republican. That's what I just thought.
I wish this would actually show the party affiliation on the list, but it does
And
not.
since their city elections are nonpartisan,
No.
yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well,
Alright.
I guess because I'm seeing Whitmire and Jackson Lee, I'm thinking that it should show, but I guess that's true. It wouldn't if they're running at the city level.
We're just going to run through the election results in Virginia really quick, because I haven't really looked at this. Ohio has voted to legalize the possession and sale of marijuana. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I
No,
believe
but
that's the second time it's been about. I could be wrong. I remember there was, I think, another version of that on the ballot in the past. but there were some issues I think that some people had with it. I'd have to go back and look on that one, but I guess second time's a charm if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, if it passed, it passed.
And not that it matters to us at all, but Richmond, Virginia has voted against building a casino. It doesn't look like Glenn Youngkin's going to get the number he wants out of Virginia.
How's it going?
Looking at the numbers right now, no party has gotten the majority yet. But state Senate, 19 Democrats, 15 Republicans. There's a few races outstanding. And then in the House of Delegates, 44 Dems, 32 Republicans. So I'm assuming. Okay, so if the numbers hold tonight, the Democrats are going to get 2 Senate seats, and the Republicans are going to get 4 more.
Specifically for Virginia. Okay.
So it'll be 21-19 split in the Senate.
I don't remember where I read it, but I was reading some election day news somewhere that suggested that this race in Virginia might be a predictor for how Republicans might perform next year in 2024. But I don't remember what news source I was reading on. It was definitely an opinion piece, obviously, but I don't remember if it was a right or left wing slanted site.
So Republicans right now are leading in 16 House of Delegates races. So that would push them to winning 48 seats. Democrats are leading at 1, 2. They're leading in 8. So yeah, if the numbers hold, the Democrats are going to end up with control of the Virginia State Senate and the Virginia House of Delegates. So
I guess Governor Youngkin will have to have his veto pen ready.
yeah. Well, I mean, I know that what they were saying was he was kind of hoping to get the majority so they can move on his agenda. Because I know that he's only got like 2 years left of his term, and then he's out. Because Virginia's only a 1-term state for governors. So, don't know. But, well, that is what we have right now. We're going to try to get some numbers for for Happy ISD. Do we have Hereford, by the way?
No. The only local ones that I've been tracking, mostly because with a lot of these smaller counties, it's kind of hit and miss as to whether or not they get their results up. So I've mostly been focusing on Canyon ISD, the Lubbock County bond, and since it's entirely within Lubbock County, so it's easy to track, is the City of Wolford City Charter. So let me see if I can pull numbers for the other counties that Happy ISD includes. I was just checking. There are no new numbers for out of those 2 Lubbock County races, the Lubbock County bond or the Wolford City Charter. And there also doesn't appear to be any new numbers for Canyon ISD. Lubbock isn't saying how many precincts are reporting with the numbers that we have so far. Randall County, which is reporting the Canyon ISD numbers, they're saying 90% reporting. So let me see if I can pull any other numbers for the other counties that include Happy ISD.
While you're doing that, I'm trying to pull Midland County because they have a school bond, big school bond on the ballot. It's been an expensive school bond. Midland ISD's bond is passing. 12,000 votes to 9,000. $56 to 44 right now. So, a lot of interesting numbers coming out. So we're going to stick around until we have some calls. Probably 2 got called, right?
Yeah, I think he said there was only 2 left. I just didn't want to get up and start writing on it while you
Which
were
one?
talking.
Prop 10 and Prop 12, those are the only two we're waiting on. 10 is,
So 11.
10's the biomedical tax
Yeah,
exemption.
10 is
5 was
biomedical.
called.
Okay.
2 was called.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So we're just waiting on.
So we're waiting on Gallatin County Treasurer and the biomedical tax exemption. I would imagine we're probably going to get calls soon. According to the last numbers, I looked at 93% of the vote recording. So it is 9:25. We will be back here in a few minutes, hopefully with some more numbers. Stick around. We'll see you soon.
Alright, we're off.
Noise.
Really?
I clicked the button to turn the audio on, but okay.
Is it on now?
The audio is on now. We're sorry, folks, about that.
We'll just go ahead and we'll go right back through it. Okay, since you've been sleeping, here's what's happened. We don't have calls to make for props 10 and 12. Conflicting numbers coming from different sources. The Associated Press, I believe, is one of the outlets that's saying there's 50% reporting. The Texan saying 99% reporting. And then we actually don't know how many votes are outstanding. So we're just going to say we'll hold those till tomorrow. But just to kind of run back through it, Prop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, and 14 all pass. That means increased homestead exemption, among other things, teacher retirement, lots of things. Prop 13, judicial age increase, fails. Okay, Canyon ISD. Canyon ISD's tax ratification has failed. Final numbers.
57% have voted against it, 43% voted for it, and kind of what that means for the district. At a certain point, when the district was going through their budget, per state law, when they set the tax rate, if they're going to receive over a certain threshold of more revenue than they did under the rate before they did the budget, then they have to send it to taxpayers for approval. In this case, they went over that threshold. It had to go to voters for approval. Voters have rejected it, and these are the final numbers. There were about just under 7,000 votes cast in that election. And again, that's 57% voted against, so it looks like Canyon's going to have to go back and take another look at their budget to figure out where they're going to go from here. And that's really the one really big local race that we've been focusing on the ballot. It's the only local race that is entirely within Potter and Randall counties. We've also been just not trying to see if we can track Happy ISD. One of the problems there is it is spread across several counties, and so tracking those individual counties, some of the counties don't have numbers in. But Lubbock County, we also know that we don't know if it's the final numbers. Lubbock isn't really saying how much is reporting on their website, but it does look like their Lubbock County bond is passing. It's with about 10,000 votes for to 7,000 votes against. There's also one other minor thing that we've been kind of tracking. City of Wolfforth, they're having a city charter election. 404 votes for and 48 against. So those are some of the local ones that we've been tracking. We'll have some more local race numbers probably tomorrow. Another big one is Panhandle ISD bonds. I know that that's been a big ticket one that we don't necessarily have the numbers on for tonight, but we'll be getting you those numbers shortly.
Yeah, we'll have numbers on those tomorrow. Do you have something?
I've been looking at Houston. The numbers for the Houston race haven't changed. It's still showing that Whitmire is leading at 43 to Jackson Lee's 37, and the Houston Chronicle states that they expect it to go to a runoff, and they've got some information about both of the candidates or campaigns. I don't know if can I talk about that?
Yeah, please.
Because it's so if they're talking from the Houston Chronicle, it's talking about how Whitmire has built a strong coalition of Republicans and independents, so he has people pulled under his tent that might not otherwise normally vote for him. And they're also talking about how he has significantly more money. Like as of October, Whitmire had $4 million in the bank, which is more than 40 times the amount that Sheila Jackson Lee reported. So his polling numbers are strong, his bank account is strong, and the Chronicle also states that in their observation, conservative voters reliably turn out in runoffs. So Whitmire has a huge advantage against Jackson Lee at this point, according to their analysis.
Yeah, I think Whitmire, it's kind of interesting, right? Because Whitmire is a longtime Democrat, but I think folks know what's at stake if they elect Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to make a choice, and I mean, I could speak for that. I'm not a native Texan, and I've had to vote in races in New York where there were no Republicans or Libertarians or Independents, and I was having to vote for the Democrat that I liked more than the other one. And in some cases, I feel that way about Republican races too. Like, it's just the least of the evils, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so give you some more information. Trying to remember which other races we had to cover. We're going to go ahead and do a pop-in on House District 2. There's a special election there to replace Brian Slayton. Brian Slayton was the first member of the Texas House in many decades to get expelled after some information about his improprieties came out. He was expelled from the Texas House, so the voters in House District 2 are trying to elect someone to replace him right now. And that's kind of important because usually these off-year elections don't really matter a whole lot when they're filling a House seat. The governor just keeps calling special session after special session. So whoever wins this is going to get to do some work. I have my cheat sheet pulled up here. Okay, we had 6 candidates running in that race. Most of the money and endorsements had focused on 2 candidates. That's Brent Money, no pun intended. He's a Republican lawyer from Greenville.
And he probably does have the most money.
He's probably got a lot of money, yeah. Jill Dutton was the chair of the Van Zant County Republican Women. Those 2 kind of have been dominating all the headlines. Both Republicans, like I said. Money's kind of more the conservative guy. He's got backs by Sid Miller and Ken Paxton. Dutton's the more establishment pick. Then there's this third guy, Heath Hyde, who's an attorney from Sulphur Springs. Really, I don't think many people were even paying attention to him. I know he was the only Republican candidate against vouchers in that race. He also got endorsed by the Texas Farm Bureau, but that doesn't really mean anything.
Well, the vouchers thing is kind of interesting, though, because the specific topic of these repeated special sessions has been school vouchers and education savings accounts. So whoever wins in this race might have some sway in the next special session.
Well, Heath Hyde has done better than I think anyone expected. So Heath Hyde, I'm pulling these numbers right now. These were the latest numbers. Brad Johnson from the Texan had them. Heath Hyde is in 3rd place right now, 31% for Brent Money, 26% for Jill Dutton, 23% for Heath Hyde, and Kristen Washington, that's her name. The only Democrat running is at 10%, so I'm not really going anywhere. But there's about a 600 vote difference between Dutton and Hyde. It's going to a runoff. Brent Money's in the runoff. We don't know who's joining him. And it sounds like Dutton and Hyde have been trading spots all night. So we'll hopefully have an update on it soon. But that's going to be an important race to watch because it could have ramifications for the next special session. So that is where we're at on that race. We had some more to cover, but I can't remember which ones.
What were we going to talk about?
We did Houston.
We got Houston. We got Slatton, or that House race we were just talking about. We got,
and I think we said we don't have numbers for Happy ISD.
Yeah, for Happy ISD, tracking down some of these ones for, especially I think the other 2 counties are Armstrong and Swisher. Just not really getting good numbers out of those counties. We have some numbers out of Randall County, but that's only a very tiny sliver of that district. So that's probably not going to be all that indicative of what the final results are.
Yeah, we don't have any numbers yet out of Midland County. Or I'm sorry, we do have numbers out of Midland County. And Midland County, have they called their bond election?
I have not checked. I can pull it up real quick.
I think Midland County may have called their bond election. Midland ISD, interesting race. So,
be interesting to see what the choices Canyon ISD makes now.
Now that the bond
Now that this has failed, I'll be curious to see that.
I'm gonna see if we have an update on House District 2.
We're at 249 out of 254 from the state, so I don't think I'm gonna have anything else.
I'm gonna see if I can get an updated number on House District 2 really quick. Oh, how did Tony Busby do? That was the one that we were missing.
Oh,
Houston.
let me go back to that tab. Gimme. There we go. Busby, it's still the same. 51-41 with favoring Huffman, but KHOU hasn't updated. It says it's updating every 2 minutes, but it's still showing like 2% reporting for some of these, or the numbers haven't changed, the precincts and things haven't changed.
Okay, so we don't have a call on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for Midland, they're saying all vote centers are reporting. It's still sort of close. It's not the closest thing that we've seen tonight, probably, but it's right about there. It's 56% for and 44% against. So it looks like
The Midland bonds passed.
yeah, the bond has passed in Midland, and again, that is with the final numbers. Kind of looking at the map, of course, none of us are from Midland, but it definitely seems like the support for it is coming from more urban areas of the district.
Yeah.
The more rural areas are turning out against it, looking at their map down there. There is a bit of a swath in western.
It's in
Midland.
between Midland and Odessa.
Sort of, although it's going sort of through part of the western part of Midland itself. There's a few precincts that are going against it, but it seems like the turnout from the rest of the city of Midland has been outweighing all of the rural opposition and the opposition in the western part of the city of Midland.
I have an update on House District 2. 85% reporting Brent Money's at 31%, Jill Dutton's at 26, Heath Hyde is at 23. So, 3 percentage points separating Dutton and Hyde, 85% reporting. That's probably going to be one we'll have to wait and see all the votes in tomorrow to know who's going to the runoff with Brent Money. But that, I know that probably Ken Paxton, this is the first big test, right? He's endorsed all these House candidates. This is kind of the first big test. And his candidates doing okay. I mean, his candidates in first place, there are several candidates running, so it's not really a shock it's going to runoff. Paxton probably has to be fairly happy with the results. And if this bodes well for his candidates in the primaries, he's probably pretty happy. So, well, I guess that's all we have right now. No other races really quick. Just check. I don't think we weren't really tracking anything in New Mexico or Oklahoma for our neighbors to the west or the east. Yeah, doesn't really look like anything super major. So,
So I want to close out by recapping where we're at on the
Yeah.
state props.
just to kind of go back through, Prop 1 passed. Prop 1's the right for farming, ranching, horticulture. Prop 2, which one's Prop 2?
I'll bring up the list again. I'm just
You got the
on the
list?
wrong page. View change election. My iPad's being a little bit slow.
Oh, Prop 2 is
There
the
it is.
tax exemption for child care facilities.
Yes, I believe that's right.
That is passed. Prop 3, which is
Prop 3 is the wealth
Prohibiting.
tax.
Yeah.
prohibition on the wealth tax. It's passed. Prop 4 is the homestead exemption increase, which passed. Prop 5,
Is Texas University Fund.
Texas
appears to have
University
passed.
Fund passed. Prop 6.
There we
Is
go.
that the water fund?
Yeah, Texas Water Fund is Prop 6.
Prop 6 passed. Prop 7,
Is the Energy Fund.
Energy Fund. That one passed. Prop 8,
Broadband infrastructure.
broadband infrastructure,
Mhm.
passes. Prop 9,
Cost of living adjustment for teachers on
teacher
TRS.
retirement, that one passes. Prop 10,
Medical equipment.
okay, medical equipment tax exemption, we don't have a number on that yet. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have something.
It is leading in favor of passing, but
And I think this number is still accurate.
It's
56,
close, within
44.
like a half a percentage.
Okay. And Prop 11,
Conservation and reclamation districts in El Paso.
yeah, that's the El Paso prop. That one is passing at this hour. Prop 12, that's the Galveston County Treasurer. It is passing. Now remember, even if Texas voters approve it, we still gotta wait for Galveston voters to approve it. Like that has to happen at the same time. Checking a little while ago, I think it's a little tighter than statewide, but it is passing in Galveston. So it looks like it's probably going to pass. We'll wait for official results tomorrow. Prop 13,
Judges, old people.
judicial ages. That one has failed. First prop in 4 years to fail. And Prop 14,
Centennial Parks Conservation Fund.
yeah, that one's passed. Recapping the other ones, John Whitmire, Sheila Jackson-Lee, they're going to run off for Houston's mayor. Tony Busby, looks like probably isn't going to make a runoff.
Well, everything shows 51% for his opponent, but they also, Houston's only still showing like 2% reporting, so it could change.
This is a race we're probably going to have to wait till tomorrow to see the numbers on, because we don't know yet. Brent Money is leading House District 2. We'll wait probably till tomorrow to find out who's going to the runoff against him. It's either going to be Jill Dutton or Heath Hyde. Any other races we covered?
They're big.
Canyon ISD.
Canyon's tax, they failed.
Yeah. Canyon ISD's prop failed. And
There are
then-
big bonds in Lubbock County and Midland ISD that both look like they're passing.
Yeah, Lubbock and Midland both passed their bonds. And then we don't have numbers in for Happy. Happy's tax ratification.
And there's also another big bond that I know is on the ballot in the region, Panhandle ISD. We don't have the numbers there, but we'll have those hopefully tomorrow.
So, what a fun election night it's been. As a reminder, primary ballot filing starts Saturday. So if you want to run for precinct chair or county commissioner, or really anything, you can file beginning Saturday. Jason Fogelsong is running for railroad commissioner.
I am not. I'm not running for anything.
Well, we'll see. But ballot filing begins Saturday. There's plenty of time to go file. I guess we will see y'all on the next election in March.
The primaries are coming. It'd be faster than you think. So if you are watching this and you are not registered to vote, you need to take care of that.
Yeah.
And we could be shaping up for a busy election season next spring because we got the primaries. Any of those might go to runoffs, and there's a good chance we might have some local stuff on the ballot in between those two.
Yeah, and as a reminder, anyone who's over the age of 65 who votes by mail, your application has expired. So you're going to have to fill out a brand new one for 2024. That's fairly simple. Contact your elections administrator. But that's really all of the election housekeeping we have. So I'm Thomas Warren. That's Jason Fogelsong. And that's Noah Dawson. We are excited that you joined us tonight. Thanks for being with us. And we will see y'all in the next election.